Hello. Today we are going to discuss about test command, that is numeric test and the string test in this session 36. So in the previous session we already discussed what is a test command and what are all the types of the test commands we have. So there are three types of test commands are there: file test, numeric test and string test. So what is a test command? Test command is used to evaluate an expression whether it is true or false. And so that all things we discussed in the last session. So in this session we are going to discuss about numeric test. In numeric test, numbers are compared two numbers are compared using relational operators that are listed along with their meanings. Operator meaning equal to, this is for NE for not equal to, GT for greater than, GE for greater than or equals to, LT for less than, LE for less than or equal to. Two illustrative examples of numeric testings are given below. So for example, x is equals to 5 and y is equals to 7. Test x equals to y. So what it will check? It is going to evaluate this expression whether the x value is equals to y value. So here and we can also test this. So this test becomes fails. Why? Because here we can also test like this. So the alternative syntax of the test command is x is less than y with the square brackets instead of using the text command. So this the most common method for using the text command to perform a comparison of two numeric values. So the table below shows the list of condition parameter used for testing two values. The numeric test conditions can be used to evaluate both numbers and variables. Here is an example for doing that. So for example, value 1 is equals to 10. So this is using numeric test comparison. Suppose the value 1 is equals to 10, the value 2 is equals to 11. If the value is greater than 5, if the value 1 is greater than the 5, then it has to display the test value, whatever the value value 1 is greater than 5. If this condition fails, then it will again test for if the value is equals to value 1 is equals to value 2. Then if value 1 and value 2 are same, then the values are equal. It will display the values are equal. Else, if this condition fails, so then it will display the values are different. In order to check that, in order to test these type of numeric comparisons, so the numeric tests are used. So this table shows the list of condition parameters used for testing two values. So the test numeric comparisons, n1 equals to n2, check if n1 is equals to n2. n1 is greater than or equals to n2. Check if n1 is greater than or equal to n2. n1 is greater than, if GE means greater than or equal to. GT means greater than. n1 is greater than n2. It is going to check if n1 is greater than n2. Next, it is going to check n1 is less than or equals to, LE means less than or equals to n2. Check if n1 is less than or equals to n2. n1, so next one, n1 is less than n2. LT means less than. It checks if n1 is less than n2. Next comparison is n1. These are the numbers. So n1, ne, n2 means not equals. So it checks if the n1 is not equal to n2. So these are the few condition parameters used in the testing of two values. So the test numeric comparison. The first test condition, for example, you consider this one. the value 1 is greater than 5. It tests if the value of the variable 1 is greater than 5. It tests that condition. The second test condition in the previous example, it is going to check that the value 1 is equals to value 2. It tests if the value of the variable 1 is equal to value of the variable 2. So this run the test. So the test value, let's run that code. If we run that code, the test value, suppose for example, if we give the value 1 has the 10, then the test value 10 is greater than 5. So the values are different, correct? So here the value 1 is 10, it is going to check whether the 10 is greater than 5. Yes, 10 is greater than 5, that condition true. That's why it will execute the statement as the test value 10 is greater than 5. The next it will again it will check the condition n1 and n2 are not equals. So it is not equal actually. So the values are different. Next, both of the numeric test conditions evaluated as expected. There is a limitation to this test numeric condition too. So, for example, consider the another example. So here, so the test value is $1, value 1. So here it is going to check value 1 is greater than 3. Then the result is larger than 3. So that is about the numeric comparison, numeric test. So next one is test command string test. String tests are conducted for checking equality of strings. So what is a string? It is a set of characters. String tests are conducted for checking equality of the string, non-equality of strings, zero or non-zero length of strings, and so on. So given below is a list of different string tests that could be performed along with their meaning. String test meaning Z string is true when it is true if length of the string is 0, that is the string is null. N string is true if length of the string is non-zero, that is if string exists. String 1 is equals to string 2 is true if string 1 and string 2 are identical. String 1 is not equals to string 2 is true when if string 1 and string 2 are not identical. String 1 is true if string 1 is not a null string. So the following section describes the different string comparisons available. String equality. So some of the sections are there to describe the string comparisons. In that, first one is string equality. The equal and non-equal conditions are fairly self-explanatory with strings. It's pretty easy to know when two strings values are same or different. For example, here it is going to check the condition the user and the test user strings are same. So it will display, if it is true, then it will display welcome test user. So if this, it is going to check the string. So whether two strings are equal or not. So this table below shows the comparison function you can use to evaluate two string values. First one is, in this table string comparisons are there, test command string comparisons. String 1 is equals to string 2. It checks if string 1 is the same as a string 2. String 1 is not equals to string 2. It checks if string 1 is not the same as string 2. String 1 is less than string 2. It checks if string 1 is less than string 2. String 1 is greater than string 2. It is going to check if string 1 is greater than string 2. N string 1. So it checks string 1 has length greater than 0. Z string 1, it is going to check if the string 1 has length of 0. The first test condition, value 1 is greater than 5, test if the value 1 is greater than 5. So in this string, the test, it is going to check the value 1 is greater than 3. Value 1 is greater than 3. So then the result is larger than the 3. Next one, string comparison. The test command also allows you to perform comparison on string values. Performing comparisons on string can get tricky. As you will see, the table below shows the comparison functions that you can use to evaluate two strings. The table is this table. Similarly, using not equal comparison, so it is used to compare like this. So suppose for example, when we want to compare for the not equals string, so it is used like this: user not equals to test user, then it is not a test user, else it is a welcome user. The test comparison takes all punctuations and capitalizations into account when comparing strings for equality. String order. Next one is string order. Trying to determine if one string is less than another string is where things starts getting tricky. There is two problems in shell programmers when trying to use the greater than or less than feature of the test command. The greater than and less than symbols must be escaped, or the shell will use them as redirection symbols with string values as file names. The greater than and less than order is not the same as that used with the sort command. The first item can be result in huge problem that often goes to undetected when programming your scripts. If it is going to compare here the values, the string value 1 is greater than value 2, then value 1 is greater than value 2. Value 1 is less, else it is less than value 2. Suppose for example, baseball is greater than hockey. So the length of the baseball is greater than the length of the hockey. Greater than symbol, it is just using the greater than symbol itself in the script. No errors are generated, but the results are wrong. The script interpreted the greater than symbol has an output redirection. So it is created a file called hockey. Next one, string size. The string size n and z comparisons are handy when trying to evaluate if the variable contains data or not. So here it checks the condition n value 1. If this true, the string value 1 is not empty. Else the string value 1 is empty. Next it is going to check z value 2. If it is true, the string value 2 is empty. The string value 2 is not empty. Next, if for a third variable, z variable 3, if it is true, the string variable 3 is empty, else the string variable 3 is not empty. The string testing is not empty, the string is not empty, and the output of this before script is like this. This example creates two string variables. The variable 1 variable contain a string, and the variable 2 variable is created as a empty string. The following comparisons are made here. This determines if the variable 1 is non-zero in length, which it is, so that then section is proceeded. Second one is where z variable 2, it determines if the variable 2 value is 0 in length, which it is, so then the section is proceeded. Third one is z variable 3, it determines if the variable 3 variable is 0 in length. This variable was never defined in the shell script, so it indicates that the string length is still 0, even though it was not defined. So in this session, this is about this session. In this session, we discussed about the test commands, numeric test. How can we test the numeric comparisons, and string test comparisons, and few sections in the string test comparisons, and few examples we discussed. So this is about this session, test command with numeric test and string test. Thank you.